First of all, I am so sorry for this thumbnail, but it had to be done because unfortunately for you, and definitely unfortunately for me, who has to edit this for 100 hours. Today, we're looking into championships, but not just any championships. No, of course not. If you know this channel by now, you know that's not what we do here. Forget your Super Bowls and your NBA titles, because today we're going completely underground, exploring some of the most odd, weird, and insanely specific championships that you could win tomorrow. Well, most of them. You see, I'll explain it later, but one of the competitions I'm not sure I can actually mention right now because I'm in the first minute of this video and I could get... Before we begin, make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. If you want to see more content like this, it really helps out. Alright, moving on to the video. Our first competition takes place in Ashmore, Derbyshire. There's no way that's a real place. Ah yes, lovely to meet you. Welcome to my hometown of Derbyshire, located in Port Binklesworth. Taking place in Ashmore, Derbyshire is the World Toe Wrestling Championship. The sport was founded in the town of Wetton in 1974, where according to Ben Woodruff, who's the current world champion who goes by the name Total Destruction, get it? Because it's total. Everyone was horrible at sports. So in their boredom, they created the World Toe Wrestling Championship, and the rest is history. So what exactly is toe wrestling? The thing is, it's actually really sophisticated because you kind of have to angle the feet. It's arm wrestling with your feet. You place your feet on a podium, or what they call the toadium. There's another zinger. So they place their feet on the toadium and then they interlock their toes. I hate this so much. And look, like, you might be laughing at the absurdity of it now, but being a toe wrestler actually isn't as easy as it seems. As the same as every other contact sport, you have to be careful with hygiene. So fungal infections, verrucas, and warts are not uncommon. The current world champion, the Total Destruction, actually has an incredibly strict training regime that includes toe stretches and toe deadlifts. And he even went as far as surgically removing his own toenail to give himself an advantage. I don't know how YouTube's gonna go with this, but if I can show it, this is what that looks like. I want to cry. Look, I'll just say what we're all thinking at this point. You just know that like a solid 30% of people that play this have the craziest thing for feet. It's gotta be the referees. Yeah, okay, yeah. Looks like you have a wart here, actually.
Did you just try?
No, of course not. I'd never never do that. Anyways, the winner walks away with the coveted foot-shaped championship, and just like feet do, I'm going to walk away to the next topic because I cannot stop thinking about that guy's toenail-less nubs. Our next competition brings us to Yorkshire, England. Of course it's England. I introduce you now to an endurance test, a pain test. This is the sport of ferret legging. The rules are quite simple. They require pants with no underwear and 2 live ferrets. The contestants must close off the pants around their ankles and drop 2 of those live ferrets into their pants. And whoever lasts longest with the ferrets staying in their pants wins. I don't have a joke written into the script for this just because what the f***? This sport, if you want to call it that, has actually been around for centuries, with the origins going back to a time where only the wealthiest in England were allowed to keep their animals that were used for hunting. So in order to combat this, the poorer lower class would often drop ferrets down their pants in order to conceal them from guards or whoever may be patrolling. Now my question is, how the f*** did this get past anybody's eye? If you're a guard and you just see this 2-foot long wriggling thing near this guy's crotch, do you just assume that he has a monster cock? Now just real quick, I have actually never seen a ferret before researching this, and behind me right now is a ferret, and this is a ferret's teeth. Why would you do this? So the sport in modern times actually had a resurgence around 1972, with the record at the time being 40 seconds. Fast forward 9 years, and in 1981, retired miner Reg Mellor would get a crazy record of 5 hours and 10 minutes. I have to look up what this guy looks like because I just don't Okay, yeah, no, I understand now. This guy definitely has a made out of titanium. The funniest part of this guy's story is he actually went back to break his own record in 1986, attempting to reach 6 hours in front of 2,500 people. But So sad. After 5 hours, people got bored and just left. Employees that were running the stage that he was on started packing up the stage, and he began pleading with the crowd to stay, begging them to watch this feat of him breaking this record, and ultimately he was left standing alone with no one to watch him break the record. This was utterly heartbreaking and humiliating for him, and it forced him into retirement. This record would remain unbroken until 2010, where a pair of two people managed to last 5 hours and 30 minutes. They actually tried to make a female spin-off of the sport called ferret busting, where, you know, for the men, you shove the ferret down your pants, women would shove a ferret down their top. It never really took off anyway. I just think England needs to be nuked. Our next one takes place in Dorset, England again. Do you not have anything normal to do? Participants fly from all over the world to gather and compete in the Nettles Eating Championship. At first reading about this, I thought I read the word Nestle, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it's like a Milo drinking competition or a cereal eating competition. Yeah, nah. If you don't know, the Otio Dayoika, I definitely didn't Google the pronunciation for that. I'm actually editing right now, and I've been laughing for like 5 minutes because I didn't even say it right there. It's pronounced Otika Dayoika. Okay, yeah, anyways. Or the nettle plant is this little leaf thing here. They look pretty normal. That's until you zoom in. And you'll see that this plant contains hundreds of tiny hypodermic-like needles, which upon contact with your skin will inject histamine along with other chemicals which will produce a stinging sensation. This is nuts. And these people are eating them. Contestants have 1 hour on the clock and are only allowed 2 liquids, water and beer. And if you vomit, you lose the game. And it's rumored that this competition started because 2 farmers got into an argument over who had the longer plant. So they decided to have a measuring contest, and whoever's came out shorter, they had to eat their own plant. Is this just how every up contest starts? It's always just 2 English fat men trying to pass time.
Oi Charles, I bet £3 you wouldn't stick your feet in those Chinese foot binding torture shoes. Oh yeah? You reckon?
The current record holders of the nettle eating competition go to Tom Wheeler, who ate 116 feet or 35.4 meters of pure nettle. And as far as the women's competition goes, Beth Hodges ate 64 feet or 19.5 meters of pure nettle. Beth Hodges did an interview where she quoted,
I did really sting the inside of my mouth, and your tongue goes a really funny color, but I was concentrating more on the pain in my hands, so I probably forgot about my mouth. My voice is also an octave or 2 deeper. Oh, okay, wait. My voice is also an octave or 2 deeper, and I'm a bit huskier. There's like 9 different things to dissect in that sentence. Now, as stupid as that competition is, I really do not think anything will come close to this last one. Our last competition brings us to not England, and instead takes us to Heinola in Finland. This is the World Sauna Championships. Now, if you don't know how a sauna works, it's pretty simple. You're basically in a hot steamed box where the heat is fueled by the steam, and the steam is fueled by water that you place on a bunch of hot rocks. Pretty easy way to shed body fat and water. Like a lot of boxers and fighters will use saunas to cut weight, but most normal people that use a sauna are pretty responsible and will only be in there for 5-10 minutes at a reasonable temperature. Now we got that out of the way. The competition ran from 1999 and was eventually banned in 2010. Now the reason it was banned, I will follow up on this very shortly. The competition started with preliminary rounds and ended in a final where the winner of each round was decided by who stays in the sauna the longest. The starting temperature for the men in the competition was at 110 degrees Celsius or 230 degrees Fahrenheit. Half a liter of water was poured every 30 seconds. This is like an undescribable amount of heat that you can't really think about unless you've been in a sauna, and as someone that's been in a sauna, it's really hot. Timo Kaukonen was a notable winner of 5 times, and it was said that the winner would receive pretty disappointing gifts. For example, one year apparently the gift was just a set of speakers that you could use in a sauna. Earlier I mentioned that the competition was banned in 2010, and that was for an incredibly good reason. On August 7th, 2010, 2 competitors were both removed from the saunas and brought immediately to hospital and placed in critical condition after lasting 6 minutes in the heat. Russian finalist and former 3rd place finisher Vladimir Ledinsky was dragged out, suffering from convulsions, severe burns, and blisters. He was cooked. Literally cooked alive. Vladimir
died after only hours of being in hospital. And in his autopsy report, it was found that he applied some sort of special ointment to his skin that acted as a heat resistant, and whatever this ointment was definitely played some sort of role in his death. The other competitor was our 5-time winner, Teemu Kalkinen. He suffered extreme burns and was in a stable but critical condition. He was placed into a medically induced coma, and when he awoke 6 weeks later, his respiratory system was fried and his kidneys failed. Not only that, up to 70% of his skin was burnt. Miraculously, he survived. He lived, and he still talks about this incident today. Well guys, that wraps up today's video. If you liked what you saw, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Again, it really helps out with the channel, especially with me, because we're only just starting out. Yeah, that's it from me. Oh, there was actually one thing I forgot to mention at the end of my last video. I was supposed to say...